Well, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Steven here, Northwest Small Batch Brewing, and it is time for another homebrew talk. It's getting cold here in the Pacific Northwest. I do have the heat on. I keep it kind of low, but it's been raining, which means it's been hard to get outdoors and do yard work. And I just want to sit inside with a fire and drink beer. I'll tell you what. This beer is really good. This is from Rogue Brewery. It's called Berry Blonde, 4.7%. It's stone fruit. It tastes like just a standard ale, but it's got what tastes like plums in it, and it's really nice. Anyway, today's brew talk is about infections. So a question that can come up quite a bit in forums and from new and advanced brewers is, hey, take a look at this picture. Is my beer infected? So let's talk about that. The short answer, and don't skip to the end just because I'm giving you the quick answer here, which is probably not. It's probably not. I'm not saying it's impossible for your beer to get infected, but this is so good. Most of the time, yeah, it's not. So what do you usually see? Well, there's two things. Mostly it's yeast that people mislabel as a potential infection. You get a layer of yeast. Yeast tends to group, slowly sort of stick to each other on the top of your beer, and it creates what we call yeast rafts until it's heavy enough that it sinks to the bottom. So sometimes those are mistaken for infections. Your Kreuzen, or what some people call Krausen. That's, during your high fermentation, you have all the yeast activity going on. It creates this layer of protein and yeast and wort that sometimes makes a ring around the outside of the fermenter. Sometimes that is mistaken as an infection. All that's normal. Not a problem. In fact, there's very little that I personally consider an infection. There's a lot of things that can give you off flavors, right? You can get diacetyl, DMS, acyltaldehyde. All these things to me are not really infections. They are, well, I can't go into each one. I've done a video on all that kind of stuff before. I'll probably do another one that's more current, but basically those aren't really infections. All right. Let's continue and I'll get to that. The next thing you might see, I'm trying to put a picture up of this, is what's called a pellicle. Now, is a pellicle an infection? I don't qualify it, but it's getting closer. It's getting closer to an infection, but I don't really quantify it that way. Usually, a pellicle is there on purpose. I know that sounds weird, but basically it's this white film that looks kind of ropey, and sometimes you get these giant bubbles in it on the top of the surface of your beer, but it doesn't go down under the beer, it just is on the surface. This is actually a lactobacillus, and this is one way to make a sour beer. So if you're making a sour beer in this way, then it's expected. You meant to get it. It also can come if you have a Brett infection. I'm putting it in quotes. The way you usually deal with these kinds of issues is you just take a siphon and you siphon the beer from the bottom, and leave the top where the pellicle is, because everything under it is fine. And a lot of times it actually tastes really good. You just want to get it off, that top pellicle. All right. Moving on from that, let's talk about what is, in my opinion, constitutes a real infection in your homebrew. Mold. All right, my friends, we're talking about mold. Now, here's the thing about mold. It will, and I'm going to put up some pictures so you can see, but mold tends to be fuzzy. It also tends to hang out on top of your beer. And here's the scary thing about mold. All types of mold are a risk, okay? You cannot tell a mold by its color or by the way it looks, whether it's a safe mold or not a safe mold. All molds should be considered a risk when you're talking about brewing beer. The interesting thing that is different between a pellicle and a mold, molds will penetrate below the surface. Unlike a pellicle, a mold will actually penetrate your beer. So you can't just siphon from below what you think is the mold into another vessel and be good. If it's mold, you're done. That's it. It's not something you're going to try to fix. You're not going to come back from it. That's a dumper. You need to boil or somehow sanitize your equipment. It's not something to be trifled with. What else can I tell you about mold? Not only can you not get your beer from under it, you can't skim it off either. So don't try to skim off the mold and think that that's going to remove it. As I said, the mold penetrates the entire beer. It's not just on the surface. There's one other thing that's kind of scary about mold. Mold has toxins in it. And this is why I said all molds are a risk when you're talking about homebrewing. Mold contains toxins. At the very least, these toxins can cause liver damage, and at the worst, death. And there are also some of the toxins in mold that can cause cancer. Sort of like mushrooms, right? You never eat a mushroom unless you know for a fact somebody can identify it with 100% certainty. You don't eat it because same problem, right? You can die from eating bad mushrooms as well. So here's the deal. When I said in the beginning of this video, is my beer infected? And I said probably not. Because 99.9% of the time, it is probably just yeast rafts, the Croissant. There's a chance it could be a pellicle, like lactobacillus. But almost guaranteed it's not. However, as I said, if you see something growing in there that's fuzzy and it's going down below the beer, it's hanging out on top, that's mold. That is mold. And once you see that, you're done. You're going to have to dump it. It's just not worth taking the chance. And it's certainly not worth taking the chance on serving that to somebody else who doesn't even know that that's, been the case. Now, all this sounds very scary. But I've never, in all my years, and I've been brewing since about 1996, on and off, and I've never had mold. That being said, I'm also very, very careful with my food handling when I make beer. I sanitize everything. Yeah. So, if you do follow those guidelines to be safe, the chances of getting mold are very, 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 very slim. Remember that wort has a pH that mold doesn't like. Once the alcohol starts to form in the beer, that also helps keep mold at bay. I will say one little trick or secret, not really a secret, but if you're putting adjuncts in your beer, for example, I'm getting ready to do that on a beer I'm making, you don't want them floating. So if you put in cacao, fruit, especially fruit, vanilla beans, anything you add to the beer at some point as an adjunct, meaning afterwards for flavor or whatever, if it floats, there's going to be oxygen that could get to it, and mold, that's a place where mold will try to grow. Best thing to do is get some canning weights. They're glass. You put them in the bag with whatever you're, putting in your beer, and that way it sinks below the surface. If it's below the surface, it's probably not going to get moldy because there's alcohol down there. That's my secret. Anyway, I'm out of time. Hope you found that interesting, and I'll be back in another week with another video of some sort. And until then, keep on brewing.